Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Chief Mrs. On today's episode, we are talking politics. In Nigeria for some time now, we've been talking about restructuring, talking about the Constitution, that the Constitution is not depicting the way the country should be handled, the way the country should be shared. And so everyone is talking about restructuring and that the Constitution should be rewritten. But how many of us actually know what's in the Nigerian Constitution? How many of us has actually taken time to go through the Nigerian Constitution? Well, I decided to read out to you the Nigerian Constitution. It's going to take me a while to go through it. This is the very first episode. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, Becoming with Chief Mrs., so that you do not miss any of the content of the Nigerian Constitution. Let's go. So, do you have a copy of this? It's also in soft copy. If you don't have the hard copy, you can download the soft copy from the internet. So it has here 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with amendments 2011. And on the first page, like I said, I'm going to be reading it out to you. So I'm going to be taking you page by page. It says here 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's the first page. And then on the second page here, it has Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Promulgation Decree 1999. And it goes thus. Decree number 24, 5th May 1999, commencement. Whereas the Federal Military Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in compliance with the Transition to Civil Rule Political Program, Decree 1998, has, through the Independent National Electoral Commission, conducted elections to the office of President and Vice President, Governors and Deputy Governors, Chairmen and Vice Chairmen, the National Assembly, the Houses of Assembly, and the Local Government Council. That's one paragraph. I just read to you the first paragraph. I'm going to the next paragraph now. And whereas the Federal Military Government, in furtherance to its commitment to hand over to a democratically elected civilian administration on 29th May 1999, inaugurated on 11th November 1998, the Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee, charged with responsibility to, among other things, pilot the debate on the new Constitution for Nigeria, coordinate and collate views and recommendations canvassed by individuals and groups for a new Constitution for Nigeria. Okay? And whereas the Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee benefited from the receipt of large volumes of memoranda from Nigerians at home and abroad, and oral presentations at the public hearings at the debate centers throughout the country, and the conclusions arrived thereat, and also at various seminars, workshops, and conferences organized, and was convinced that the general consensus of opinion of Nigerians is the desire to retain the provisions of the 1979 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with some amendments. How old are you today? I know my age at 1999. I won't tell you. So they are saying here that there was a public hearing, and then they had debate centers, and that the general consensus, the conclusion was for us to retain the 1979 Constitution with some amendments. You that you're listening to me, were you at that gathering? Did you drop your opinion? Did you tell them that you wanted to retain the 1979 Constitution? Food for thought. Let me continue. And whereas the Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee has presented the report of its deliberations to the Provisional Ruling Council, PRC. That's not here, I just added that. And whereas the Provisional Ruling Council has approved the report subject to such amendments as are deemed necessary in the public interest and for the purpose of promoting the security, welfare, and good governance, and fostering the unity and progress of the people of Nigeria with a view to achieving its objective of handing over an enduring constitution to the people of Nigeria. And whereas it is necessary in accordance with the program on transition to civil rule for the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1979, after necessary amendment and approval by the Provisional Ruling Council, to be promulgated into a new constitution for the Federal Republic of Nigeria in order to give the same force of law with effect from 29th May 1999. I'm going to be going on a short break now. When I come back, I will kick off from where I've stopped. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. So let's just dig in. Now, therefore, the federal military government hereby decrees as follows. 1. There shall be for Nigeria a constitution which shall be as set out in the schedule to this decree. And then the 1 has a subsection. So 1, that was subsection 1. Now I'm going to subsection 2. The constitution set out in the schedule to this decree shall come into force on 29th May 1999. It did. Now subsection 3. Whenever it may hereafter be necessary for the constitution to be printed, it shall be lawful for the federal government printer to omit all parts of this decree apart from the schedule, and the constitution as so printed shall leave the force of law, notwithstanding, I'll take that again, shall have the force of law, notwithstanding the omission. And then number 2, this decree may be cited as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Promulgation Decree 1999. And I have some little letterings here. By the side, you have it written, Promulgation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't know if you listened to my introductory video, but I introduced myself as a political scientist. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a political scientist. So I'm just here to read out the Constitution to you. I am not interpreting the Constitution to you. I'm reading out to you so you will know what you have in the Nigerian Constitution. So that when people are talking, you can talk and talk from an intelligent point of view. Now I'm going into the schedule. So we have here Schedule Section 1, Subsection 1. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. The arrangement of sections. I'm sure the camera is bringing this closer to you. You can see that. So the Constitution in itself is divided into chapters and parts and sections. So I'm going to read out all the chapters to you so you know what is encapsulated in each of the chapters. And then I will begin to take them one after the other. So in chapter 1, you have general provisions. Chapter 1 is divided into part 1 and part 2. So in chapter 1 that has something to do with general provisions, you have part 1 that talks about Federal Republic of Nigeria, the supremacy of the Constitution, etc. I'll talk about it as I go deeper. And then part 2 of chapter 1 talks about powers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then you have chapter 2. So that was chapter 1, part 1 and part 2. So now you have chapter 2. And chapter 2 is where you have fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. That's in chapter 2. And then in chapter 3, you have citizenship. So chapter 3 of the Constitution deals with your citizenship as a Nigerian. Chapter 4 deals with your fundamental rights. And I think this is common. A lot of people know this one. And it's going to be interesting when we get to that section. Fundamental rights, chapter 4. And then chapter 5 is divided into part 1 that I can see here and part 2. And then part 1 has subsections, section A, B, C, D. So chapter 5 has to do with the legislature, and then that has to do with part 1, National Assembly, and then the part 1 has part 1A, which has to do with the composition and staff of National Assembly. So the president of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Rep, staff of National Assembly, I think it's about their, what's it called now? Their credentials, what they need to have to become one. And then part 1B talks about procedure for summoning and dissolution of National Assembly. And then part 1C talks about qualifications for membership of National Assembly and right of attendance. Okay. And then part 1D talks about elections to National Assembly. And part 1E talks about powers and control over public funds. And then we have part 2. Remember, we are still in chapter 5, which has to do with the legislature. Now we have part 2, House of Assembly of a State. And then part 2 also has part 2A, composition and staff of House of Assembly. Part 2B, procedure for summoning and dissolutions of House of Assembly. Part 2C, qualification for membership of House of Assembly and right of attendance. Part 2D, elections to a State House of Assembly. Part 2E, power and control over public funds. Are you as excited as I am? I'm so happy that I'm going through the Constitution with you. And I'm going to stop here. So make sure you subscribe to this page and be sure to like the video so that when I post further videos, you'll be the first to receive the notification. I'm going to continue from here when I come your way, same time next week. Till I come your way again, keep fulfilling destiny. Bye.